For agents and investors from across the country. Today is Thursday, June 8th, 2023, and this is All the Leads Mastermind podcast number 432. Write that down, Bruce. I won't be here for the next 2 weeks. Next week is 433.
Yeah, good luck me remembering that.
All right. I got nothing, Bruce. It's all yours.
All right. I want to welcome some familiar faces and some new faces. Obviously, we are here for you guys. So if you are new here or a longtime joiner of our mastermind, we do this every Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern time. That would be 10 a.m. Pacific time. And if you're not in Pacific or Eastern, you're going to have to leave the call right now. Just kidding. No, you guys do the math if you're not there. Every Thursday, we do it live right here on Zoom. If you are listening to this after the fact, you can join by going to alltheleads.com/live. In the future, we also stream it on YouTube and our Facebook mastermind group. So if you're watching via live stream, we welcome you guys. This call is for you all also. It's a good Q&A session. It's a time for you to share your success, ask your questions, help with your deal structure, with your prospecting, with your marketing, anything you need to do in the probate space. That's what we're here for. So if you're on the Zoom call and you want to ask a question or you want to share a story, go to the bottom of the screen and click the little reaction icon and click raise your hand. Now every now and then we get someone that will click the applaud button. That goes away. So if you applaud us and you think you're raising your hand, it'll go away and I won't know that you're asking a question. But you can raise your hand, we'll call on you. You can come up, ask your question, share your success stories. We want both. As a matter of fact, I would love if we had more success stories than we have questions, but usually it's a little bit the other way around. Everybody that's seeing success, they get too busy with their transactions and they don't always join us live. If you want to know where you can listen to this after the fact, you can go onto our YouTube channel, the All the Leads YouTube channel. You can also go download our podcast channel on your favorite podcast app and listen to these calls after the fact, or you can go way back and listen to all the old calls as well. Tons of nuggets in there. If you want to get pumped up, you want to get excited, you want to learn what other people are doing to be successful, go listen to those. We encourage that. So with that said, I want to go ahead and turn it over to Tim. I believe that he's got something to say to you guys, and then we're going to start taking questions. So please come up with your questions. Don't be shy. There's always needs to be someone to break the ice, and it normally takes me begging for about 10 minutes. So be the person to break the ice and get those questions rolling. Just go down to the bottom of your screen, click reactions, raise your hand. And by the way, if you're on YouTube or Facebook watching live, you can chat your question in. We do have moderators monitoring those, and they'll kick those questions over to us for the answers. Without further ado, let me go to Tim.
I was hoping you'd have more ado. That's it?
That's it for now.
All the ado.
I'll have some more ado here in a minute.
So I have two things to talk about, and I'll probably remind you guys again at the end so that we continue to do this. But if you remember last week, those of you who were on the call or who may have listened to it since then, we put something out there that basically said that we would be delighted if you would refer people to us, and we would express our delight in tossing you a $50 credit against anything you wanted to go do. We've had a number of people already take advantage of that. And so I'll reiterate for you, it's real simple. You simply, next time you're talking to someone who's not your direct competitor in your backyard, which we wouldn't encourage you to go do, not necessary to do that, but almost everyone who's in our business knows someone in another market that they're in contact with. And whenever you are, you should mention probate to them and see if they're interested in, turn them on to visiting with us, and make sure that they know when they talk to their account representative to just mention your name, and we'll keep track of it and make sure you get credit for it, and we'll pay you. So we want to make sure that you're aware of that, and we want to continue to expand based on that. There's no form of advertising that's a greater value to us and to our company than that, which is a happy subscriber turning somebody else on it into another marketplace. And we work real hard to make sure you're happy. So if you are, let people know about it, and we'll appreciate it, and we'll let you know. We'll let you know how well we appreciate it by offering you some dough. Second thing I wanted to talk about, Alyssa is on the call today, and she and I are both having camera challenges today. She was going to be live on the camera, but Alyssa has been hard at work putting together a program for the social media side of our businesses for your businesses. And so she wants to talk about that program today. And so with that, I will introduce Alyssa, who is our Director of Marketing, and take it away there, kiddo.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So a lot of you have probably already seen or gotten some information about our Social Motivator product, but quick intro for those of you who aren't aware, we have a platform that we offer that allows our agents and investors to basically manage all of your social media platforms from one convenient place. So we know how important it is to have a digital presence in the world these days, and especially on social media. More and more people are using it, more and more older people are using it, and it's becoming a great way to have credibility. I think between ages 50 and 64, at least 73% is the third largest age group using social media in the US. And as we know, that's one of the most common age groups where people may find themselves assigned as a personal representative of an estate as well. So with that in mind, we thought, we need to create a way to make it easier for people to harness the power of social media and quickly and easily produce and create content across these platforms as another way to just extend your marketing further. Also helps direct people to your website and things like that, to be able to help convert these into actionable prospects. So we have a complete platform that allows you to create content, create posts. You can upload your graphics, everything from, connecting it to even Canva or Google Drive, Dropbox, YouTube, kind of making it super convenient and simple for you to have all of your content in one place and be able to create content to post. You can connect all of your profiles to this one platform, the most popular ones and more. So Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Google Business. You can even connect your WordPress page directly to this platform. There are content suggestions available through this platform. So if you're having a week where maybe you're not exactly sure what to post, but you want to get something up, you can browse content right from that dashboard, or use that content as inspiration to create your own. You can schedule posts as far ahead as you want. Some people do it, a week at a time, a month at a time. Some people do it a quarter at a time. You can do them individually as you go, if that's more your style. And you can do everything from, creating the hashtags and the caption and the graphics, and even on Instagram, creating what you want your first comment to be. That's a tool that some people use across Instagram. The other awesome feature is the social inbox. That gets the ability for you to respond to any messages and comments that you're getting all in one place. So that is super convenient. You don't have to worry about going from social platform to social platform, responding to comments and, trying to figure out where people are messaging you. As much as we all love social media, I'll be the first to tell you that they don't make it easy for you to do that. So this platform really kind of cuts out the noise and helps you monitor those messages and comments quickly, so you can increase that engagement and be top of mind quickly. It also has a reporting feature built in, so you can kind of see what's working, what makes your audience tick, so to speak, so that you can work on boosting engagement. So with all that being said, I am going to post in the comments a quick video that kind of gives a little bit of a demo of our platform, so that you guys can take a look at that after the call. If you're interested in learning more, we definitely want to hear from you. We have an info email that we can send out to those of you who didn't receive the original one. Just post a comment here and all of your email address, and I can get an email sent out to you with all of the good information that we have. That includes the link to the demo, as well as all of our content plan pricing, so that you can kind of take a look. Our social motivator access starts at just $39 a month. And that's just for access to the platform. If you want to connect your own profiles and post your own content and things like that. And then you can upgrade anytime to one of our content plans, where we will actually create the content and post the content for you. So we give you two different options. If you're more of a DIY or you're comfortable creating your own content, we make it easy for you to do that. If you'd want to be a little bit more hands off and just have us do the content creation for you, we're happy to do that as well. We do everything from posts, we do videos, we do blog content. If we have one of your websites hosted with us, we'll post the blog directly to your website for you, and then we'll be able to use that for future content as well. So lots of awesome stuff included. It's a really great way to, like I said, extend your marketing, get in front of more people. It's also an awesome way to collaborate with some of those service providers in your area as you're building out your service team. If you have providers that are active on social media, it's a great way for them to tag you in their posts. You can tag them in your posts and kind of help with some cross promotion that way as well. So just wanted to mention that again. It's been a minute since we talked about it. I'm going to go ahead and post the YouTube video to the Social Motivator demo. And if you have any interest, feel free to let us know. You can also email our support team, and we'll make sure that you have everything you need to get started.
Melissa, is there a specific link on the website that they should visit to go look at this?
Yes, I'm going to post the Social Motivator link as well right here.
Okay, great. And the other thing I would ask you also is, would this be something that if I've just taken a new listing, I could put my listing data into this and it would pump it out to all my channels?
Yep, absolutely. You can pretty much post anything that you want across any of these platforms. So, you know, this goes for if you have needs beyond just probate as well. You can connect as many profiles as you want, really. So feel free to do with that as you wish. We have some agents who have their probate profiles connected and their regular real estate profiles connected and their wife's business profile connected and their son's restaurant connected. So really, I mean, you can use the platform for anything that you want. As far as the content creation side of things, our content plans are more so connected directly to the probate and the real estate space, but we are flexible and we can pretty much do anything you need. There might just be some additional steps taken to execute that, but it is definitely an all-in-one platform.
Okay, I'm going to ask one more question and we'll move into content. We've got someone with a really tired arm holding their hand up. I'll get to that in a second. But if I have posted something, for example, if I did post a property that I just listed and I listed it, 30 days ago, and I put all the details in there and links to my pictures and, did the normal thing that you see everywhere. And then there is a change in the price. And I just want to update the post that I'd already made, maybe put a new post out, but I want to use the same content. Is that content stored so that I can just pull it up and use it again?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
That's an important detail to remember, that you're creating not just content now, but you're creating a repository that you can then go in and pull stuff up and, you can reword something, you can edit it. You're not constantly trying to figure out something new every time. You can repurpose content that you've already done. And the whole idea in social media is that you're trying to not flood people with stuff, but every time they see something from you, they know that it has something unique and there's value in it. And it's hard to do that and keep yourself sane. So trying to make it easy on you. And Melissa did a great job. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you, Tim. Let us go to our man with the tired arm and shoulder from his hand being up. Let's go to Douglas. Douglas, I just gave you a permission to unmute. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm quite well, thank you. And I want to thank you for bringing Alyssa on. This is just what I've been thinking about all week. And I know if you guys are doing it and it's anything like the quality of your websites, it's going to be top of the line. So thank you.
Well, thank
Sounds
you.
like yeah, so I can't wait to learn more. I'm going to watch the link. One question.
Mhm.
Is it all right with you if I share the link with other agents I know around the country?
Darn. That's always a real bummer when you guys refer us. No, yes, absolutely, Douglas. Alyssa,
Well,
is that okay? I'm not going to speak for everybody, but yeah, I think that
Yeah,
would be amazing.
absolutely. Feel free to share
Okay.
it to anyone.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I look forward to it. I can't wait to watch the video. And Alyssa, if I have any questions, can I contact you at all the leads?
You can contact pretty much anyone on our team. So support or your MIS, they have all of the information. They're well equipped to answer any questions. If there's any questions that they can't answer, they'll know to bring myself or Eric, who is our other marketing team member here. So we'll definitely make sure you get any questions answered that you need.
Okay. Thank you. So support at alltheleads.com.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Next question. I have a referral. Do we have any probate agents in the Long Beach area, Long Beach, California?
You are probably opening yourself up to get a whole bunch of messages and emails right now. Not a whole bunch, but a few. What we can do, Douglas, is send you an email, or you can chat support. You can either email support, chat support by going to all the leads and clicking the chat icon, or if you haven't done that, then we'll email you a couple of potential referral partners that you could use in the Long Beach area.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I don't have
next-
anyone on the top of my head, and if I did, I would want to I would probably not want to call on them. I don't want to play favorites if there's more than one person there, which, by the way, everybody, if you're new here, we definitely limit the county number of seats that we have in a county. So we're not just flooding your market with a whole bunch of competitors or anything like that. But sometimes there are more than one person.
Thank you.
We did
Okay.
just get a comment from someone who says they're from Long Beach. So you might want to follow up in the comments with that person.
Yeah, absolutely. Name school instructor. So you guys go ahead and start a chat here in the comment section of the Zoom room.
And Douglas, in the future, you don't even have to wait till the next mastermind call. Just go to All the Leads Mastermind and post there. And I'm sure you'll get you'll get responses there.
Yeah,
Yep.
I just got the lead 2 minutes before this call. I would have thought of that if I had had a minute, but I was in the process of opening my Zoom while I was getting the referral. So
Actually, Jim,
Awesome.
I'm gonna correct one thing you said. My preference would be that you contact support rather than putting it into just the mastermind. Let us give you the ideal person to work with. If you put it, I mean, we have 15,000 people in the mastermind. It's one of the bigger communities out there. You'll certainly get a lot of people, but we'd like to give you somebody that's been well vetted and potentially sort of has earned the right to get your referral. So
okay, beautiful.
say don't do it that way and contact us and let us help you.
Okay, very good. Thank you. This is important to me because the person that gave me the referral up here is potentially a really good client for all of us.
Yeah, that'd be great. So yeah, if you'll let us help you, we'll try to pair you with the best person that we can. And if we can't, then obviously, you want to hang it from the highest flagpole and see who salutes. At least in the beginning, let us find you the right person.
Okay,
And,
very good.
and go ahead
Thank you.
and go ahead and chat with the gentleman in the comments. See if that might work. Okay.
You bet.
All right, one more question too.
Yes, sir.
I want to start getting a little more aggressive about prospecting probate attorneys. And I just wanted to just throw a couple things out because I remember would it be too much or too aggressive, which I have a tendency to do, and to call them and ask them if you can advertise them on your website?
No, no. We encourage you to be value centered, where you are providing more value. So much so that I tell attorneys, look, I'm not like every other agent or investor that's coming to talk to you and asking you to send me referrals. I want this to be a two-way street. I want to give you value. I want to refer you prospects. How can I do that? And then they'll tell me some ways that I can do it. And then I'm going to bring up a couple of ideas that I just happen to have. Okay. So I want it to sound more conversational and not so scripted. But one of those ideas is maybe I could promote your business on my website for people that have visited my site that don't have an attorney. Would that be okay? Well, why are they going to say no? Another thing is maybe I could do a Zoom interview with you. We could have a conversation about the probate process. I could interview you, and then I can promote that video or pieces of that video on my website, my blogs, my YouTube channel, my social media, things like that, promote your business. Why are they going to say no to that? So being able to go to them with more than just, let me send you a referral, why don't you send me referrals, is absolutely crucial. So I love your train of thought there, Douglas.
Okay, so you opened up with, it's a two-way street.
Mm-hmm. And I don't say that to say I need referrals from you. I get it in there kind of subliminally. I'm implying that, of course, I'd like referral business. That's the implication. But what I'm doing is I'm drawing a clear distinction between what a one-way street looks like, where I'm begging you for business, and what a two-way street looks like, where I'm giving you more value than you give me. And that's the implication that I'm saying. I don't say it in those exact words. What I do is I try to show myself as being different from anyone else that might approach them. And I actually say that. I want to be different from the other agents or investors that might approach you. I know they're a lot of times coming to you asking for you to refer all your clients to them. And I don't want to be that way. I want this to be a two-way street where I'm sending clients to you, supporting your business, I am marketing and promoting for you. Okay, so I say two-way street, but then I spend most of my time talking about what I'm going to give them. And subconsciously and subliminally, they're recognizing that it should go both ways. But I'm not saying, but don't forget, you better refer me. I'm not lecturing them like that. I'm talking more about what I give them. And hopefully in doing that, they trust me more, they respect me more, and the referrals do start coming from the other direction as well.
Perfect. Thank you for answering my question.
Absolutely. Douglas, anything else?
No, I'm
No?
good.
Okay, guys, I don't see any other questions right now. I would really love to see some questions. I see Alex just dropped a question into the comments. I will answer that in 1 second. Alex, if you'd like to raise your hand and ask it live, please feel free to do so. And we did just get some other questions from YouTube as well that we'll answer. If you'd like to ask it live, raise your hand. If not, I'll read your question for the room here in a second. But before I do, I'd like to, number one, remind everyone, raise your hand, ask your questions, share your successes and your wins, things like that. But I want to talk about something that is really important to me. So often I'll have coaching calls with all the lead subscribers. And if you don't know, you get a free coaching call every month with one of our coaches, of which I am one. And a lot of times people will ask me for certain assets that I have, or we'll have a conversation and I'll say, oh, hey, let me send you my letter of intent, or let me send you my menu, or let me send you my listing brochure, or my letter, or my email sequence. It's just kind of, I'm bringing certain things up. And I've had people that have said, when do you have time to create all these things? And the answer is really, really simple, is I don't create that often. But when you can create a habit of creating assets in your business, maybe once a week or once a month, those things absolutely add up. And I've been in this space for going on about 9 years now in the probate space. And do I practice what I preach and go in and create a video every week? No. Do I create an asset every week? No. Or a blog every week? No, I don't do that. But little by little, I add assets that might take me a half a day to work on, but then those assets are going to work for me for years to come, years and years and years. An example is some of you guys might want a probate checklist added to your website with a little lead capture form. That's an asset that you can work on, and it might take you 30 minutes of talking with the support team to add that, and a little tiny bit of money, not a lot. And all of a sudden now you have that asset sitting on your website, and it may go a few months without producing anything, and then all of a sudden you'll get a lead from it. And it may go another year without producing anything. And I'm not giving you guys examples and telling you it doesn't produce, but what I'm saying is it doesn't matter once it's created how often it produces business. The fact is it's an asset that will continue to produce business over time. Some of you are going to do maybe a YouTube video where you've interviewed an attorney once every 3 months. You create that asset, you put it on a YouTube channel. We're not talking about anything extreme. Put it on a YouTube channel, and now you have that asset living online to point to you as a credible expert that knows what they're doing and works in this space forever. You might create your own checklist that you can send out. That's an asset forever. Now, we're all about teaching people the nuts and bolts of the business. And the nuts and bolts are you got to send mail out. You have to make phone calls. You have to drive people to a website. That's the nuts and bolts. Once you have that in place, now it's time to go work on those assets. And I'm going to encourage you guys to weekly go in and set time aside to create an asset for your business that will spin off and produce more and more and more benefit to your business in the future. Once it's created, you don't have to think about it again. It's there, it's producing credibility for you, it's producing leads for you, it's producing something for your business. So think about it like that. Don't spend all your time in the business, spend some time on the business. Just wanted to encourage you guys to do that. And we have some questions that have come pouring in. Alex says that you provide cash assistance to sellers in order to help sell their property. Should you have them sign a document to safeguard your investment? Which specific document can you have a seller sign? There is not a specific document that you should have them sign, but you should absolutely 100% sign something. It could be a simple 1 or 2 paragraph document that says that you're providing them this monetary tangible value, list off how much it is or what service you're providing, and in return they agree to sell the property to you or pay you back, or through you, or pay you back at the end of the estate settlement. So put terms in place. We're not attorneys, so we haven't drafted any sort of legal documentation to be able to protect you for that, but you can find a whole lot online. The reality is you can sit down and draft it yourself. You're a party to the contract, and anytime you're a party to the contract, an attorney does not have to draft that contract. Now, if you're drafting it for someone else, you probably have to be an attorney to do so. But if you're
Bruce,
a party,
you probably want
do it.
to you probably want to send a copy to the probate attorney and or the title company, just to make that lien record to make sure you get paid. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. Good input, Jim. All right, coaches, anybody have anything to add to that while I read some of the other comments and questions that we have? Jim added a little bit. Anything else that you guys would like to add? Okay, so Carlos has asked a couple of questions here. So when the owners are deceased with no heirs and the property has a reverse mortgage, but the lender is no longer in the business. Oh my goodness. All right. So you got a decedent. There are no heirs. The property has a reverse mortgage and the lender is no longer in business. What's the correct process to acquire the property? If the lender is no longer in business, someone probably bought that paper. So someone most likely bought the paper. I need some help with this one. Has anyone dealt with a situation like this?
Bruce,
Yes.
I will, go ahead, Tim.
Well, I'm just gonna say I've dealt with a reverse where the company's out, the original company is. Obviously, if the person was continuing to get a check in reverse mortgage, someone bought it, someone was paying them, someone got the portfolio. So that's part of the challenge in doing that, is that they need to go potentially back to the bank and look at deposit records to see where the checks came from. And that's how they can find at least who's currently holding the paper. That's the only thing I have to offer.
Yep. Great.
I was just going to say again that a good title company, it's one way or the other, it's a title issue. I've seen cases where the mortgage was so old or the satisfaction was so old, the company was out of business and there was no way to track them down. And in some states, when it becomes 10 years old, it disappears. It's not considered a lien anymore. So if it's real old, your title company might be able to tell you, don't worry about it, we can insure over it. If it's relatively new, I'm sure this is the kind of thing they deal with all the time. And it's probably not if it's a common or even semi-common lender, they've probably run into it before. So that's probably where I would start with my title company. I'm going to give you this deal. What would you recommend I do? They'll probably have some good advice for you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Perfect. Okay, so hopefully that helped. That's a very unique situation. And that's one of the things that we do here, guys, is we help solve unique situations, and we teach you how to think about solving unique situations. The answer is not always apparent. I've dealt with a whole lot of problems and deals going sideways and unique circumstances in my real estate career. And every now and then one pops up and I've never even thought about it before. But once you kind of get the idea of how to think about that process, then you should be able to solve a lot of problems. And every now and then problems aren't solvable, as in when there's no heirs, there's no will, there's no relatives, and there's a reverse mortgage. I don't know exactly how that's going to happen, but good luck with that one. I think that the first step is figuring out where that money has been coming from to the decedent.
And Bruce, to the no heirs issue, I have seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my question would be, was there a probate filed? Apparently there would not. How did the person get the lead? And if there was a probate filed, I would call that attorney. There is a process for putting out notice to try to find heirs. And then I think the default process, the money goes to the municipality or the city or the state. But if there is a probate attorney, I'd reach out to them. If there isn't, and the probate hasn't been filed, good chance to introduce yourself to a probate attorney in your market. Call and ask them that question. How would you handle this? If you can handle this, I'd certainly use you if you're able to handle this, for me to buy this property.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Guys, you want to look for any excuse that you can to make connection with a new attorney. Any excuse, and this is a great excuse. It's a great question for us to answer, and I want you to keep bringing us those questions. Many times we're going to point you guys, when you have something that's kind of complicated like this, many times we're going to point you to go to a probate attorney. Maybe not one that you're already getting a ton of business from. I guess you could, but use that question as a chance to move the needle with a different attorney. So that's going to be a good opportunity for you, Carlos. Carlos had also asked if a property is going through probate, but is also in pre-foreclosure. So it's going through probate, it's also in pre-foreclosure. Does the bank have priority over the buyer once probate's done? Not necessarily. If it's upside down, the bank is going to have priority, and you're going to need to work through maybe a short sale process if the property is upside down. But a lot of times the property, especially in this market, is not going to be upside down. The decedent's gone and nobody's paying the mortgage, so it's in pre-foreclosure for that reason only. You should be able to sell the property not only at once probate is over, but you should be able to sell that property before probate is over, and get the bank paid out, and the estate gets the remainder. So the bank, and in most cases, in a market like we have right now, in most cases, the bank is not going to have priority over the buyer unless it's upside down. And you don't have to wait till probate's over. All right, questions, guys. So bring your questions. I see a lot of people that are chatting in questions. Happy to read your chats. I'd love to have some interaction with some of you as well. So if you're up for it, raise your hand. I'll call on Dwayne here in a minute. I want to answer Ron's question. So Ron has asked where you can find outbound scripts for your initial calls and follow-up calls. So there's going to be a couple of places. One is going to be an upgrade that I'm going to ask you guys to strongly consider doing. Is I have a class that starts on the third Wednesday of every month, and it's a 2-day class. It runs Wednesday, Thursday, once a month. It's not 2 full days. It's about 2.5 to 3 hours each day. It's called Prospecting Mastery. You can find that inside of the training menu on the website. So if you go log in on alltheleads.com, go to training, and then classes and seminars, I believe, you will find Mastering Your Prospecting Conversations, Prospecting Mastery. And it's a great class. We go deep. It's $149 for subscribers, so it's an incredible value. We do a ton of role play, a lot of scripts. I generally steer people away from scripts. We use scripts as kind of our learning phase. And then once you have the principles of some of the scripts, you really need to branch away from those scripts if possible. Another place that you can learn is if you go onto our YouTube channel or back into our website to the Q&A section, you'll be able to find past role play calls that we've had. So specifically, if you go to All the Leads on YouTube, you can look up on playlist role play calls, and you different ways that we have taught people to open conversations, different things like that. Now, Ron, I'm assuming you haven't been through Probate Foundations yet. You may have. If you have been through Probate Foundations, at the end of Foundations, I do give my opening scripts for how I open that first 15 to 20 seconds of a call. For you, Ron, or anyone else that hasn't been through that, please sign up for the free class, Probate Foundations. And you will get, in that class, you'll get all the ways that I open a prospecting call. The rest of it, it's going to take a couple of days for me to kind of break apart and teach you how I handle the different responses, how I handle the rejection, the objections, things like that. Hopefully that helps. All right, I am going to go to Dwayne, and then we're going to go to some of the other questions that have been chatted in. Dwayne, go ahead and unmute yourself. It's good to see you, man.
Hey, yeah, on the subject of the role play, some time ago, I went into that and started with number 1, which I think is actually starts in 2015. And so every so often I go back to it, and that stuff doesn't get old because it's repeated. So for those who aren't certain about it, just give it a try because it gives you good content to think about. The principles don't really change. Mm-hmm. Question I have has to do with, well, if I send out letters to the most recent delivery of leads that I got, you start out by sending letters out and then following up with a call. I understand that. And I happen to be one of the lucky ones that still has quite a few leads that I haven't addressed yet that are several months old. And I've been assured that I'm in company here in opening up this subject, so it won't be too embarrassing. My question actually is, how do you deal with something that's 6 to 8 months old? It seems almost a waste of time to start a letter campaign and throwing a lot of money after something. Does it make more sense to just try to call them? What's the best procedure on something older like that?
So both 6 to 8 months old, that's a seasoned lead. I would probably, and I don't encourage people to generally spend a whole bunch of time scrubbing their list manually. One of the mistakes that I see a lot of people make, not you, Dwayne, but since we're on this topic, one of the mistakes I see people make when they get a new set of leads is they'll spend a day going through and looking at the tax records on each and every one of the decedent's addresses to see what it was. And that's a major mistake a lot of people make in spending all their time scrubbing their leads. And what it often is it's a form of procrastination. They know if they can seem busy by spending a day finding which decedent last known addresses were owned by the decedent, they feel like they've done something. In reality, that decedent last known address could have moved in with their kids. It could be one of 10 properties that they own. It could be a nursing home. It could be assisted living. There's nothing that says that that last known address is the real estate that was owned and is still owned by the estate. So don't fall into that trap of using it as a procrastination technique before you start marketing and prospecting. So this isn't necessarily for that answer wasn't necessarily for you, Dwayne. You're talking about an older list. Your older list is where I would probably consider spending a tiny amount of time looking at the tax records to see if that property's been transferred. So you're dealing with people at the 7, 8, 9 month mark that a lot of times they have started to make those real estate moves. There's still going to be some real estate. So what I would do is maybe run a Property Plus search against that. Identify which properties are still in the estate. So spend a little bit of extra money on Property Plus. You'll kick out 50, 60% of your list that's cleared, no longer has real estate. And then do a single one, maybe two. We're not talking about an entire mailing campaign. You might do 1 or 2 letters to the personal representatives of that estate, of those that still have real estate involved. So I would do a letter or 2 to those that still have real estate involved, and I would follow it with a call, 100% follow it with a call. So if you're dealing with an older, a seasoned list that we call, there's always real estate transactions in those older lists. I get real estate deals out of lists that are 12, 13 months old almost every time I go after them. There's people that have waited, that have changed their mind. They might have said in month 3 that they're not going to sell. Well, now all of a sudden a year goes by and mom wants to move closer to kids, or dad wants to get out of the house where all the memories are. And they're ready to talk about potentially selling the property. So do a mail and do a call. And if you want to do 2 mails and 2 calls, do that. That's fine. But I wouldn't do a full-blown campaign, because at that point you're going after people that could have potentially decided that they're just not going to sell, that they're going to keep the property.
So you're saying that, in your opinion, the most efficient way to deal with this is to, what was that word that you had there on the older one? You process them in a certain way.
Yeah, scrub them, or maybe use Property Plus. You could scrub them looking through tax records. Take some time. It's a form of procrastination for a lot of people. Or you could use Property Plus and just pay for kind of an advanced level of real estate scrubbing to figure out who still owns property.
So I could call into support, for example, and have an expanded or extended conversation on this very thing. I don't want to take more of your time. There's other people with questions, and get clarification on that plus scenario.
And it's really easy. You can absolutely call support. You could talk to your MIS. You can also go into, I think it's the knowledge library on our website. And there's a section there. There's a entire video showing you how to use Property Plus. And it's pretty easy. It's not super complicated. It costs a little bit of money on your lead file, but that way you don't have to mail 100% of your list hoping and guessing as to which ones still own real estate. You really drill in on the people that still have a house.
Dwayne, I was gonna add, in my market, I love the 1 to 2 year old leads, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But Oh yeah, and if you are working them diligently and you're scrubbing your list as you go by making the calls and eliminating. If you got 100 leads after 6 months, what do you think, Bruce? You should have it down to maybe 20 or 30 survivors that absolutely haven't done anything. And if you're only marketing to them, it's not real expensive. And it always amazes me the conversion rate is often a lot higher on the older ones, because if you've got 20 survivors and you are marketing them, you are the only one that's contacted them in months and months and months. Those 20, 30 survivors they're probably done with the probate process. They probably eliminated a lot of the excuses why they hadn't sold yet. So they're more likely to be ready, and you've got zero competition. So
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's really a pretty good ROI for most people if you do it that way.
Yep. Agreed.
I have a fair amount of inventory I can practice that on.
Yeah, okay.
Good.
I sometimes wonder if you guys you're doing bets behind the scene. When's that Olsen guy going to kick in?
We're waiting, man. You show up and share some success stories. Come on, we're waiting on them.
I'm not going away. I've been in this too long. So all right, great.
I think the over-under is about 4 more months, right, Bruce? Isn't that where we?
Oh no, he's got some deals going right now. We're gonna get some stories really quickly.
All right, good.
All right.
Thanks, Dwayne.
Yep.
Okay. Some other questions that have been sent in through chat and through YouTube and Facebook. What do you suggest for someone that wants to make an all cash offer to a probate lead? And if that doesn't work out, what's the best way to transition over to getting the listing so that the lead is not completely lost? That is such an interesting and good question. And the reason it's a good question is I do see people frequently burn their bridge by offending the seller, and then the seller completely walks away, and it's hard to transition once they're offended. So what I find the best way is to go ahead and put your multiple different options all out there right up front. Depending on your pitch skills, you can skew a seller's perception one way or the other slightly, depending on your skills in the appointment and the emphasis that you put on the different options. For me, I normally put a higher emphasis on the listing. I feel like I have an obligation to the sellers to kind of show them that they can make more money, and in most cases if they list the property. So I'll put a little more emphasis there. If you're an investor, you might put more emphasis on the cash offer side of things. So I would lay out 3 possible scenarios, if not 4. I would lay out one scenario where the person doesn't have to do anything. They don't have to pay anything. They don't have any closing costs. You cover everything. You take the property as is. And here's your net price that I'm going to get you. So there's your cash option. Option number 2 may be for that person you're wanting to buy the property and maybe hold it as a long-term investment. You might, in a case like that, offer an owner finance term. So you just put a 3 to 5 year balloon, and you show them how much they're going to make at the end of 3 to 5 years after you've paid them all the interest that you were going to pay the bank. Okay. And a lot of times when I show that, I'm showing them a higher price than they're going to get even if I were to list the property. So that's something that I do frequently. And guess what? You don't have to go through a bank. You don't have to put a bunch of your money at risk in a case, not at risk, but in play in a case like that. And then the third option that I normally offer is going to be the offer to list. And I'm going to show them what their proceeds are going to be, but I'm going to make it contingent on things that they have to do. So on the lower part of that page, and this isn't a full written offer normally, it's usually just a single page. On the lower part of that, I'm going to have some lines that say, if you want to do this, and you want this money from the listing, here's some things that you're going to need to do. Pre-inspect the house. You're going to need to paint the house. You're going to need to clean out the trash, have an estate sale. And I'm going to list some things that they are going to need to do, especially if I want to not make the response an automatic, well, why wouldn't I just list? And then that way they're looking at the things they need to do to get the higher price, and they might just look at the cash offer and go, you know what, I make a little less, but it's a lot more convenient. Let me take this. So I'm going to present those options to them right there in the appointment. I've made the mistake of going in and making a cash offer to someone before, and they've gone, that's ridiculous. And then I go, well, why don't I show you what happens if I list? And they go, nope, don't even want to see it. So I would rather you just put the options right in front of them all at the same time and let them choose what works best for them. Hopefully that helps. How do you find the executor of a property when the mail comes back as vacant and the mailing address is the same? Do we provide phone numbers and emails? Yes, we do find phone numbers and email addresses. Email addresses many times. Emails are a little bit, I want to caution you guys before you go dropping all the emails that we provide into your primary email account and sending out a bunch of drip emails to everyone with an email address. I want to caution you guys, maybe send one test email and make sure that it doesn't bounce back first, because emails are interesting. Anytime you've skip traced email addresses, you're going to deal with people that intentionally provided the wrong email address on car loan applications and credit card applications and things like that. I personally do it all the time. If I don't want to get spammed, I have one email address that I put out there into the atmosphere that I never, ever in a million years check. It's just the catch-all. So before you start dripping on that email, make sure that it's something that's getting opened, that it's really working. And then if it is, you can start dripping email kind of messages out. You get phone numbers with all the leads. You typically get 1 or 2 phone numbers that should be good for the personal representative. You often get a phone number or 2 for additional heirs and family members, as best we can tell. So you'll get, if Mrs. Jones is a personal representative, you might get Mr. Jones, her spouse, as a potential heir. You might get a brother, a cousin, something like that, with phone numbers as potential heirs. If that mail came back as undeliverable because the house is vacant, normally what I'm going to do is drive over to the house and put the letter onto their door, or put it maybe, I don't want to tell you guys put it in the mailbox. I'm not going to tell you put it in the mailbox. That's technically illegal. Put it on their door. Okay. Get it somewhere that anyone that's checking on that property is going to open it up. If all else fails, you could go to White Pages or get yourself your own private account to a skip tracing service and look them up and try to narrow it down a little bit more. Our skip tracing system is second to none because we're using lots of different systems to be able to find information. But if it's still an undeliverable address, you might want to use something else and try to piece together where the person lives, or go talk to the neighbors. Neighbors a lot of times know where the heir or where the surviving spouse might be. So talk to people, do some grassroots research. Tim, anything else?
No, I like talk to the neighbors. I'd knock a neighbor on either side. It surprises me how often one of them will have a key that you'll actually be able to get access to the property. I've had that happen a number of times. Good advice.
Yep. Chris asked, anything else you suggest to help close leads? Social media, direct mail, twice monthly mail, using an ISA, direct emails to the PR. Man, all those things are good. And I'm gonna just reinforce that the nuts and bolts are direct mail monthly, phone calls, drive anyone that hasn't directly responded to your direct mail back to your website. That's the nuts and bolts. But Chris is going to be more advanced. I know their situation. He's looking for as much as possible for probate. So you want to pixel your probate credibility website. Put a pixel on there through Google and Facebook. And anyone that hits the website that maybe hasn't registered for something, You want to run social media advertisements to them promoting your brand and your unique selling proposition. That's a great way for people to start to see you other places. You want to create some YouTube content. So have a YouTube channel with a playlist specifically for probate. Interview attorneys and break those attorney interviews into segments. So let me give you guys an example. You might sit down with an attorney on Zoom, and you'll have a list of 7 or 8 questions. So you start by asking them about their business, and then you ask them the questions. Well, that entire interview that you have with them can be its own video, but you can also take each question and pull it out as its own video. So you can create massive amounts of content that people find and see you that way. You should have an email campaign. You should add text messages in if the prospect has not responded to your phone calls after a couple of calls. You should add a few text messages in. I'm not talking about text blasting people. I get the health insurance people all the time, and they'll message me and say, hey, do you want a free quote? And then later that day, they'll say, hey, I haven't heard from you. I assume you're busy. Would it be easier if I just set an appointment with you? And I'm like, no, I didn't respond on purpose. So don't be that person, but do follow up a couple of phone calls and voice messages with a text to the people that are unresponsive. What else? You could go door knock. Okay. Our previous coach, Chuck, he went door knocking a couple of days ago, and he's got a listing appointment. So door knocking is really powerful. And it's not for everybody, but it's really powerful when you do it. Tim, Jim, do you guys have anything that I'm just sort of glossing over and forgetting right this second? Provide unique offers to people, to your leads. So tell them where to go get free things. So free evaluation on the property, free checklists, free landscaping, free estate sale, free locksmith services, different things like that. So provide ways that they can go and get something free.
Not only free, Bruce, but services where they'll wait till the closing to get paid are
Yeah.
very, very valuable also.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Chris, I would love to tackle more. I've got a hand up and I've got several questions that have come in. I'm going to try to get those questions answered real quick, but let's go to David first. He raised his hand. And for those of you that chatted your question in, I'm going to try to go to the people that raised their hand because I want to hear some voices here. Otherwise, it's a boring replay when people listen to it. So David, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Bruce, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So I like what you were saying about the YouTube interviews with the attorney. Do you or anyone else here have a link that they can drop so we can actually see that in real time to get like a good example of how it looks?
I am gonna bet, and I haven't seen this individual on the Zoom, but I haven't really been looking. I'm operating on one screen today. I am gonna bet that Courtney Rollins is gonna have an attorney interview on his YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and look up Courtney, Courtney Rollins, Rollins, and you might put Durham, Durham, North Carolina. He's got a YouTube channel.
I just posted the link to his channel in the chat.
Excellent. He's got a lot of videos and has done an amazing job on YouTube. And I'm not 100% he's interviewed attorneys, but I think he has. So, and then otherwise, maybe book a business booster call with me. Ask your MIS how to do that, and I can run through some questions that you might want to ask them.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Thank you. Thanks for chiming in. So real quick, everybody, I want to hit a few of these last questions. We are over time. I appreciate everybody staying for a few extra minutes. I should be able to answer these very quickly. So what's the best way to find new probate leads with motivated sellers? And also, what's the difference between probate and pre-probate? So this just gives me an amazing commercial opportunity. Best way to find new probate leads is to subscribe to All the Leads Probate Leads. We'll once a month, give you every single probate that was filed in your market, along with the decedent's name, the decedent's address, the personal representative name, address, and additional heirs and all their phone numbers. So that's the best way to find that. Probate is when someone has actually literally gone to the courthouse and filed probate, either themselves or through an attorney. Or pre-probate is more of a record that someone has passed away. Our pre-probate leads are skip traced for real estate, so we can, with a great deal of certainty, claim that they have real estate in the estate. We don't know if they're going to go through probate yet. We don't know if they're going to keep the house yet. They might have a trust, but someone's passed away, they have heirs, and there is real estate involved. So it's a little early, but guarantee you there's hardly anyone that's ever going to work those pre-probate leads. Tanya, how many touches do you suggest for those leads that are 2 years old? 1 or 2. Doesn't need to be a lot. 1 mail, 2 mail pieces. Make a phone call or 2, and then move on. You're basically hitting to see if anyone's ripened up a little bit in those older lists. Nancy, there are attorneys who are putting their address for the PR's address. What ideas do you have for that? So that would be where you probably mail directly, instead of to the PR, you mail directly to the decedent's address. And you probably stop by the decedent's house. So anytime there's an attorney address in the PR field, that's normally because the attorney is also acting as the personal representative, and some attorneys do that. Now, I definitely want to pursue those attorneys 100%. I want to work on building a relationship with them. But I'm also going to try to hit the heirs as well, and very specifically the decedent's address with mail and maybe a pop by or 2. Okay. All right. I see I was breaking up. You guys, please forgive me for breaking up. I hope what I said came through. Let me go ahead and turn it over to Jim, Tim, Alyssa. Anything you guys would like to say to close out?
I just have one thing. Oh,
Subscriber credit. Certainly make sure that you got great value from this. We do this every week, and we have a lot of people that are dedicated to making your life better. You know that. Share the good word, and we'll lay some money on you. And Alyssa, if you want to quickly just say one more word about the social media stuff, that'd be great.
yes. So if anyone is interested, once again, in learning more about our social motivator product or service, just shoot an email to support@alltheleads.com or give us a call to our support line, and we'll be happy to get all that information and the demo video sent over to you if you don't have the link saved. And then I also just want to mention a couple of questions that we get in while I'm monitoring our live stream chats that are not in Zoom. Next week, if you want to join us live on Zoom, the link is going to be alltheleads.com/live. So for those of you who are in our YouTube or Facebook chats who are wondering how to get into our Zoom call next time, that is how, and we'd love to see your faces in Zoom next week.
That's it.
All right. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I want to particularly thank those that actively participated. I will be out of the country for 2 weeks. Bruce, if Bruce forgets, remind him it will be call number 433 next week. But I want to challenge you, take one thing you learned on this call, come back next week, try it, put it into practice, come back next week and share your results with the group. Have a great week, everybody. Take care. See you same time next week.